All right, good morning, guys. Back at it with another MLB DFS video. We did good yesterday. This one felt really good. We had Scherzer that went 8 innings. Jorge Alfaro, 2 for 3 with an RBI. Josh Jung hit a home run, got us 27. Adolis Garcia, 1 for 4 with a run, walk, RBI. Elias Diaz hit a home run in the Rockies Reds game. And it was funny because the guys we paid up for, Seager and Simeon, combined for 9.2, which was very interesting. But I mean, other than that, I mean, it was a good day overall. Any takeaways from yesterday?
Uh, Nothing in particular. We were on the brink of maybe doing some damage. I was telling you before, but Simeon Seager a little disappointing at their price tags, and Profar left the bases loaded one time. I thought we could get something there, but other than that, we reverse stacked against the chalk. Um, Reds with the Rockies. They were all right. I mean, kind of what I expected. I wish there was a little bit more, but whatever. And I just kind of hope Texas would nuke, but they were just meh. I mean, if you look at the top of the tournaments, most of it is just like random nonsense. Lots of two mans, one offs, all put together. Um, like the top line had a two mans, and four one offs. So whatever. I mean, we cash. So hopefully stacking does well today, and Joey Votto doesn't go for 50 again.
One of my builds yesterday had Joey Votto. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
he was 20% owned. That hurt.
yeah, and I was thinking more narrative, like it's his first game of the season, whatever. But can't complain when you win, and especially at this time when we need it. All right, pitching: Clayton Kershaw, Garrett Cole, Framber Valdez, Ben Lively, Eovaldi, Kirby, and the list goes on and on. It's a massive slate today. So, what are you targeting as of right now?
So when I first looked at pitching this morning, Cole stood out to me a little bit just because the matchup's pretty decent against Seattle. Yankees probably need to get some wins going too because I think they're like 3-7 their last 10. They need to get going. Um, it's hard to get run support right now. I will say that lineup is just so bad without Judge and Bader. Uh, but I can see him getting the win here. Kirby on the other side is somewhat interesting because of how bad the Yankees have been. Uh, Kershaw is sure. I mean, it's Clayton Kershaw against the Angels, who strike out a ton in the back half of the lineup. Eovaldi has less odds to win than I thought in Chicago. He's 11K, which is pretty steep, but he also probably has the longest leash on the slate besides maybe Valdez. And if Valdez limits the damage, we know he can go 8 innings pretty easily. Um, the Mets looked good yesterday, though, so I'm not sure if I really want to attack them right now. And same thing in terms of like hot teams. I'm not going to play Lugo coming back today at what was it, 7,500 or something. Uh, San Fran hasn't lost in like 10 days. I think a 8 or 9 game win streak. Just not going to play against them right now. Ben Lively getting 15% was really surprising to me. But I think it's just the nature of the slate. He's a minus 200 favorite. He could probably get you, you know, 30 in this spot, maybe 5 innings, 5Ks in a win or something. Um, it's not all that exciting though, especially with all the talented arms on the slate. I don't know if I really want to play 15% Ben Lively. I guess it just depends what bats we land on. But other than that, where was some other leverage spots there? Valdez only getting 6% is probably what's standing out the most right now. And then there's just a bunch of middle tier plays that are all pretty much in play. Like Montgomery's fine, I guess. Washington is tricky, but they're favored and he's got talent. Bailey over at 9.6 seems a little steep. I'd rather him be like 9 or 8.8. Not going to Cease here. Just not doing it. Detmers, I don't think so. Savale hitting about 10% here against Oakland, which is understandable. I mean, he can probably get you the win, but can he really give you the quality start is the real question. He's only got it like once, I think, so far, and he's got like middle tier strikeout stuff. So don't know if I really am excited to play 8-4 Savale either.
The one thing I'll say about Dylan C is he's put up back-to-back 40 fantasy point games. But anyways, Clayton Kershaw, kind of like you just said, he's Clayton Kershaw. Garrett Cole is gaining the most ownership right now at 19. It kind of stands out. I think that this can be like a low scoring game with him and Kirby on the mound. It's just a matter of who strikes first. I think whatever team scores first, it's game over. Kirby, $600 cheaper at 3% with a watered down Yankees lineup. Seems very intriguing to me. Framber Valdez, 10-9 against the Mets, only getting 6%. I can see that. The only issue is Houston hasn't been winning games, just like the White Sox. Eovaldi at 11K, the reason why he's 2% is because he's 11K. But like you said, he's got the longest leash. You are taking a bit of a risk, I guess, with the salary. You just got to make sure that he's gonna go 6 or more, get that quality start, and then get the win and strike out like everyone twice. That's obviously a bit of an exaggeration, but it's against the White Sox, so I think he'd be fine. Bailey Ober, I agree with you. Um, I don't know if you've seen the AL Central. Everyone, it's like neck and neck, as crazy as it sounds, besides the Royals. So these are pretty big games for the Twins and the White Sox, just because they're all like pretty close together. So Bailey over at 96 doesn't seem like, yeah, he's a little overpriced, but they got shelled last night by Boston with Paxton on the mound. So, and they're playing against Cutter Crawford. So, I mean, this might be a decent spot for Ober. Savali is interesting at 8-4, but it's just a fact of can he go 6 and can he get you a good amount of strikeouts? Verlander, no. I love him, but no. Sorry. That's pretty much it. Ben Lively kind of intrigues me just because, 8K playing Colorado. If the stuff's there, the stuff's there. You can get to some better bats. I think that's why he's getting a lot of ownership, is just because he's 8K. I mean, I bet over on his strikeouts and he hits them, so it's my goat right there. Um, we didn't really touch on Stroman, 10-3 at 0.5%. Last time he played Pittsburgh, he got 37. But I mean, he's been pretty decent all year, but he's like a ground ball pitcher. He can obviously get strikeouts, but there's just better options on the slate. That's kind of why he's down on the pitcher's tool. But I mean, instead of 10-3, you can pay $300 more and go Garrett Cole, or $400 more and get Clayton Kershaw. So Stroman's an interesting pivot, I guess, but other pivots are 10K George Springer, 8K Lively, Montgomery, I guess, if you want him over Cease.
You say 10K George Springer.
George Kirby. Yeah, George Springer on the mound.
Yep.
That's 450 piss missiles at dead center every day. All right. Let's move on to sticks. So right now it's got St. Louis, Cincy, Cleveland, Dodgers, Texas, San Diego, and the list goes on and on and on. So what are we thinking here?
It's pretty interesting to see that St. Louis is one, just because I think Gore's actually pretty good, but St. Louis has been hitting the ball better recently, like within the last week or so. So I could get to some cards. Cincinnati again against Noah Davis. Sure, they're not getting as much ownership as yesterday, which is more interesting to get to them, but they are still like fairly chalky in terms of stack ownership. Cleveland is coming in with the most ownership against Medina, which I mean makes sense. It's Oakland, but is Cleveland really all that exciting? Not really. Besides Jose Ramirez, who I'm sure we're gonna fade today. He'll be 30% owned and drop 3 nukes on our head. Um, but they have a decent stack score. I'm not going to talk anyone off Cleveland. The Dodgers are interesting. Detmers, he does pretty well in the first couple rotations through um, the lineup, but once he gets to that third rotation, he gets lit up, and then the Angels bullpen just gets destroyed. So I could see the Dodgers doing some damage. Texas against Cease is in play. I don't know if I like them as much. I mean, if Cease starts walking guys early, that could get pretty ugly. San Diego, sure. I just don't really like playing teams in that park. Um, the team that's showing up as like the best leverage spot is Colorado again, just like yesterday. Lively's getting some ownership, so if you want to like reverse leverage there, like play Colorado. They're just so bad on the road. It's actually it's actually amazing how bad they are. Um, you can go back to Arizona again. I mean, they looked fantastic yesterday playing Colin Ray, so sure. Milwaukee's facing a righty, so they're in play. And if they're facing a lefty, it's wraps. Um, now, to me, to be honest, past on the stack tool, I want to go below Milwaukee, I think, in single entry.
So you were talking about Mackenzie Gore. So recently he hasn't played very well. His last like great start was against Kansas City where he got 55 fantasy points, but since then it's been 31, 9, and 29. And then facing Arenado, Goldschmidt, Jordan Walker, hate to say it, Wilson Contreras, former Cub. It might be a little bit difficult for him. So I understand why St. Louis is a top stick, but since he looks good against Noah Davis, Cleveland, at this point we might as well just roster Jose Ramirez because he's going to drop 3 home runs again.
At least they made him 4K. He was like 3-3 whenever he was chalk last week.
So it makes it somewhat acceptable. Arizona, if I'm being honest, I wouldn't even mind an Arizona Milwaukee game stack. Colin Rea versus Ryan Nelson. I don't know. Arizona lit up Corbin Burns yesterday, which I think also kind of helped us cash a little bit. Because I mean, if Burns went for like the same as Scherzer, man, they were both pretty chalk. So San Fran against Seth Lugo. San Fran's been on a win streak. Lugo, there's just like a small sample size for the season. So I mean, 2% leverage there. I was gonna try to say something about the White Sox, but I can't. Texas looks okay, I guess. They got a 1.8% leverage score, 6% being the top stack. 4.9 team total right there. So I mean that's kind of an interesting pivot. It's Dylan Cease. It's either he's gonna walk everybody or he's gonna strike out everybody, or maybe give up like 1 or 2 home runs. So pick your poison there. Colorado, I can kind of see doing some damage. not Profar that we played a lot. I remember like Funk texted me during the game yesterday with like Profar. He went like 1 for 5 or something, and Funk was like, I swear to God, I think this guy screws us over more than like anybody. Because anytime we play him, he gets like single digits. Dude, I don't think he's hit a home run yet this year. Maybe he's only hit one. But I mean, Colorado seems a little interesting here. It's Noah Davis versus Ben Lively. I think that can be a little interesting. I wouldn't really go past anybody in the Stags tool past San Fran. Cubs against Oviedo, I can see getting to a couple bats, 2%. Wait, no, 0.4% leverage score projected for 4.5 team total. You can definitely, this is definitely a slate where you can get a little different. So, like Seattle through San Fran or St. Louis through San Fran, there's lots of different ways you can do it and get a little different. Um, Lineup generator first.
Sure.
Okay, so what the hell? There we go. All right, so we play on Fanduel, MLB DFS lineup generator, Fanduel Main.
Let's go with a 4-2-2 because the nonsense has been working. We can go balanced. I don't have a pitcher lock yet, do you? Oh, it's not as chalky as I thought it would be.
No, definitely not. I actually don't mind this. Morale at 0.9% ownership. It's Dinger Tuesday on Caesars. I might have to throw like $10 or $20 on Morale.
I will say, if you're running a Cleveland stack, you'd probably prefer to have Jose Ramirez. Um, but if you do it without it, I mean, you're definitely different. So
Right. Let's click this a couple times and see what else it gives us. It really likes Garrett Cole today. Arenado,
Goldie.
Goldie. You know what? Really quick. Let's just see what it gets to. Oh, of course, Jose
There he
Ramirez.
is. There he is.
Lots of Cleveland. Holy hell. It's
It's
got
Milwaukee.
good amount of lively too.
Cole, Cardinals. Where's the next pitcher?
Hold on, let me start from the top. Did it really only go? Oh,
Dylan
cease.
Cease. Oviedo. Yikes.
Jesse Winker still has a job. Oh, look who's back.
The GOAT.
5%. So yeah, this is just a good way to like kind of figure out what you want to do with your lineups and kind of see what the generator likes and then make a decision based on that. So obviously here you got a lot of Guardians. Then it's just kind of a mix of stuff. You got a couple Reds here, Cole pitcher. You got Edmund, Arenado, Goldschmidt. Um, you ready to do home runs?
Yeah, I got a couple. Gonna target the main stack on the slate as far as data goes. Gonna go Nolan Arenado from St. Louis, and then gonna go Mike Trout, of course, from the Angels. I think he's due. I mean, he's just been ripping doubles. One of them's got to go out soon. And then last guy, I'm gonna go Pete Alonso.
I'm gonna go with Corbin Carroll, Kyle Schwarber, and Jorge Soler. And now that I think about it, I think Carroll and Soler hit one out yesterday. So I might be screwing myself over, but I mean, the data says those guys. So we're just gonna roll with the data. Any final thoughts? Anything we missed?
Really just another massive slate. Should be pretty fun. We'll drop the line about 10 minutes before lock, hopefully. It's not like sprinting to the finish line like it has been. And then check out Stochastics tools in our description if you want to check out all the data you need, and like and subscribe if you haven't already.